morning. 9 minutes. Welcome to this morning meditation. Can you hear me? Can you see me well? Anyway, we will wait a few more seconds. Good morning, Vlad. Radu, Roxana, I see you're there. Can you hear me? Can you see me well? Good. Thank you. All good, Vlad. All good. There will be one that will be one of the understanding that we come to. Anyway. Good morning, Andrea. As I said, we will just wait a few more seconds for a few more people to join. But anyway, this waiting is very much a part of the meditation. Just to be here. We are waiting without really waiting for something. At the superficial level, we are waiting. At the deeper level, we are here. And this being here is the most important part of the meditation. The mind can go into the past, the mind can go into the future. The mind can wait because it has the ability to think that something in the future is going to happen. This is an ability that other creatures don't have. It's just a tool that our mind has. The future doesn't really exist. There is no really a future. This is very hard to understand because we are completely taken by the mind and we believe that what the mind feels is the truth. But the mind is only like a tool, it's like a microscope or like a telescope. You don't believe that microscope, you don't really believe the telescope. These are just tools that can do something. Our mind is the same, it's a much more amazing tool than just a microscope or a telescope. It's a very amazing computer, but it's not the ultimate truth. And so the mind has this capacity to project into the future, to create a future, but doesn't mean that there is a future. There is no future, there is only this moment, there is only this now. But this amazing, beautiful, and very useful capacity of the mind to create a future allow us to live a more practical life. And so right now, we can, because of this tool, this amazing tool of our mind, we can think that something else is going to happen later, and so we can wait for that, knowing, or at least starting to know, that in reality there is no future. And so that understanding is what makes some part, the mind is going to the future, but a large part of what we are remains here, remains in what is true. This eternal now, this eternal presence. And the recognition of this eternal presence is an aspect of meditation. It's not the creating of the eternal presence, because the eternal presence is always here. It's the recognition of that. Anyway, this is not a meditation, but we can start. And what I wanted to do today, we will start with an introduction, and then we will do the meditation. I find these introductions are very, very important, because just to sit and close our eyes and try to meditate, for the majority of people, very rarely somebody can do it, but for the majority of us, it's not enough. We need to understand, and then we can try to practice that understanding, and that's what's called meditation. Meditation is a practice of an understanding. That's one way to say it. So the way I wanted to introduce today's meditation is with an analogy. And so just imagine that you have a kid, you have a son or a daughter, let's say a young kid about 6 years old or something, and you like very much to go to a museum, and you like a very particular painting in that museum, and you would like to introduce that painting to your kid. So that will be the analogy. It will be a kind of an extended analogy. It will have several steps. And but you will see the connection with meditation is very clear. And I find it very, very useful and very beautiful to think about, to understand. So you go to the museum with this kid, and you sit in front of this painting, and you want your kid to sit with you, but the kid, right away, he spends 2 or 3 seconds, and right away the kid jumps out of the place and starts to run around the museum, and he finds other kids, start to play with other kids and making noise. And so you have to stand up, go to your kid, bring him or her back, sit her or sit him down, and explain him that that's the painting. And then 2 seconds later, the kid again is running out, playing with the other kids. Obviously, this is what happens to our mind. We want to sit, close our eyes, and the moment we close our eyes, the mind is go out into some thought, into some worry, into some problem, into some ideas. We find other thoughts and start to talk with other thoughts. And now think about the kid. Do you think the kid is a bad kid? Is it bad? No, it's not bad. It's just a kid. It's just a kid that doesn't know how to sit in front of a painting. It's not an easy thing to do. So we cannot blame a kid, we cannot feel bad about the kid. We just know that he needs more time. He needs time to understand, he just needs time. And it's the same with our mind. It's very important not to think that there is something wrong with the mind. There is nothing wrong. It just doesn't have enough training. So this will be the first step. There will be several steps. So then some time pass. The kid now is 7 or 8 years old, or 9 or 10. And so we come to the museum, we sit in front of the same painting. It's always the same painting. And this time the kid is able to sit beside you. And not because you force him or her, but just the discipline comes from the kid. It doesn't come from you. But the moment the kid sits down, his attention starts to go out. He's there. He doesn't stand up and go. The kid is sitting beside you, but his attention right away wanders off, and he starts to jitter and move his hands and move his legs, and the body is moving and he doesn't feel comfortable. He stays there, but he's not really looking at the painting. He's just lost in his own mind, not feeling comfortable, feeling... Is it a bad kid? No, it's not. It's just the nature of being a kid. And it is the same with our mind. In this step, the mind is already a bit more trained. It doesn't completely go out. It stays there in the meditation. But it still is not able to pay attention to what is in front. It still it feels uncomfortable, it moves, it doesn't really feel at home. And so we go to the third step. And after doing this for a while, the child starts to have a little interest in the painting. Children are curious. And so he starts to have questions about the painting. He has questions. He says, why is this man there? Why is this landscape there? Why is the painting in this way? The child starts to ask questions about the painting. He becomes interested in the painting. And the sense of curiosity is a very powerful force. And in the case of the meditation, when we start to become curious, we start to wonder what is there under the thoughts. When the mind is more quiet, what happens? What is there? That's the curiosity. Just remember, we spend our whole day, our whole month, our whole year, our whole life lost in our thoughts. We have a mind that is continually talking, thinking, worrying, planning, believing, talking. There is thoughts continuously in the mind. But what happens when the mind gets quiet? Is there anything there? Do we die? Does the mind is dead when there is no thought? Something happens, something appears. What is there? That's the curiosity. And the curiosity is a very powerful force. And so we go to the fourth step. Remember, the first step is the child cannot even stand in front of the painting, it just goes running. The second step is the child is able to sit, but still is not able to focus attention. The third step is the interest. There is interest. And then the fourth step is that curiosity leads to understanding. Curiosity leads to a deeper and deeper into the moment. in the case of the child starts to see the painting. The interest starts to make him understand something about the painting. In our case, in the case of a meditation, this curiosity makes us understand that there is something behind the thought. There is something underneath the thought. And that's something I cannot describe it for you. It's something that we have to discover. But one way we can mention about this discovery is that we find peace. We find a beautiful, a wonderful, all-embracing peace. And so we start to understand that there is something there. There is something very powerful there. That now, just to give it a name, we can call it peace. And this understanding grows slowly. It needs repeated, we need to visit this museum, we need to sit in front of the painting several times in order for this understanding to start to appear in ourselves. And so then we go to the fifth step. And one thing that happens with understanding is that understanding leads to love. When you start to understand what you're looking at, you start to love what you're looking at. Little by little, the kid starts to love the painting and start to be really interested in the painting. And for us, little by little, we start to fall in love with this space of presence that we find. There is a love for the space of presence that develops in ourselves. When the mind starts to become more quiet, we fall in love with that sacred space of presence. And what we fall in love is with something that we've been looking for our whole life. Something that is very beautiful, something that is very profound, something that starts to bring meaning to our life, start to bring meaning to our existence. There is a love for this sense of presence that appears in this moment. And so we come to the sixth step. And in the sixth step, in a sense, we can say that there is no more struggle. The kid doesn't have any more struggle to come and sit in front of the painting. The kid wants to come to the painting. It's something that he's looking forward to come to the museum, to look at the painting, to sit in front of the painting, to feel this love that he has for the painting. And the same for emotion, look forward to it. Now, there is one problem with this seventh step, which is that many people that practice meditation, they start to find this peace, they start to fall in love with this presence, but then they become addicted to this meditation because they believe that this presence can only be gotten through meditation. That life is one thing, and then when you sit in meditation, you can find this peace. That is wonderful. I mean, if you have to have an addiction, that is a wonderful addiction. But like any addiction, it's not, in the end, it's not good. Because on the last step is the recognition that that peace, that presence, is not only meditation, but it's everywhere. And it's all the time. It's just underneath the thought. It's right here and now. And this makes this circle. These 8 steps, it seems that they are in time. We need to move in time. Step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, 7, 8. But in reality, this is not true. There is not really a movement in time. Because the presence is here right now. It's just that it's apparently covered by our old thoughts and worries and plans and habitual movements of the mind. We are so habituated to always be thinking, to always be worrying, to always have something in the mind. But this presence is always here. And that's the recognition that appears at the end of this cycle. But the end of this cycle is also the beginning of this cycle. It's right here and now. And this is very important to understand. It's not something that happens in time. It's something that is here right now. But from our point of view, it seems that we need to go around in time. It's like a book. Sorry, I'm trying to get a book. It's like a book. From our point of view, we need to start from the beginning and then read to the end. So from our point of view, there is time to come from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. But in reality, the whole thing is right here. The beginning, the middle, and the end. It's right here, right now. It's all here. But from our point of view, we need to open the book and start reading page by page by page by page. But it's not the truth. This is only because that's the way we can experience the world. So this is the introduction. And now, based on that, I would like to just to have a meditation. Imagine that this mind is this kid. Maybe some of us are at the very beginning. Maybe we sit in the meditation and right away the mind goes out. It's not a bad mind, it's just it needs some training. Maybe we are at the step where the mind stays, but still it's very anxious and moving. That's okay. It just needs more training. Maybe we start to be a little bit more curious about the moment. Maybe we start to understand that there is something in front of us. Maybe we start to fall in love with this presence. Maybe we feel very much at peace while meditating. Maybe we feel right now this peace that exists all the time. It's just a process. And there is no bad, there is no good. It's just what it is. So having said all this, I hope it was not too long. To me, I love this. It makes me understand many things. It helps me a lot to be able to see it and see where I'm going. So, just sit in a comfortable position. It's very important to keep your spine straight when you meditate. It's not important if you sit on the floor, if you sit on a chair. It's important to keep your spine straight, your neck straight, because it's very easy to fall asleep. That's another subject, the subject that one day we will talk about it. But it's important to keep your spine straight, so the energies of the body can move more freely inside of ourselves. Keep your spine straight. Open the chest, relax the shoulders. Try to put the hands in a comfortable place. I usually cross my fingers and touch my thumbs, but you can put one hand on top of the other one, or you can put your hands on your knees with the palms up, the palms down, or you can do a mudra. That's also something I like to do. The mudra is the thumb and the index together, and then the other three fingers. It has a very esoteric meaning, this, but don't worry for it. It's just comfortable. Close your eyes. Just take a couple of deep breaths. Allow the body to breathe. And very simply, start to bring attention to your body. Start to notice your body. Not because you're supposed to change it or to modify it, simply to notice the body. Start to notice your legs. Notice your hips. Notice your back. Notice the length of your spine. But soften the body. Soften the legs. Soften the hips. Soften the back. Notice your tummy. Soften the tummy. Let it breathe. Notice the air comes into the tummy. Air leaves the tummy. Notice your chest. Notice your arms, your hands, your fingers. And see that there is a tendency for the fingers to move. Remember, it's just the child needs to move. It's not a problem. But in time, we will try to not let the body move. In time. Notice your shoulders. Notice your neck. Notice your face. Make your face very soft. Soften the face. Soften the lips. You keep the eyes closed, but very soft. Soften your head. And just notice the whole of the body. Just feel the whole of the body. Now, the painting is the body. Just stay with the body. Maybe the mind will run out right away because it does not interested at all in the body. Just try to bring it back. And bring it back to the body. Maybe your mind is there, but it's not really interested in the body. It doesn't really want to pay attention. It wants to think about the many things. That's okay. Just try to bring the mind back to the body. Maybe you start to have an interest in the body. You're interested in paying attention to it. Our body is such a beautiful machine, such a beautiful gift we are given, such an amazing, beautiful gift. Just simply notice your body. And maybe you fall in love with your body. We always complain about the body, but there is so much to love about it. Our body is our instrument that allows us to move in the world. For good or for bad, it is there. Without it, we couldn't do anything. There is so much to love about our body. You just stay there with your body. Nowhere else to go. You don't have to think about the body, but you can experience the body. Can you experience the body without thinking about it? Yes, we can't. We do. experience the body without thinking about it. There is an aliveness, beautiful aliveness. Now start to notice your breathing. Just notice that the air coming in, the air going out. The air comes into the body. It fills the body with oxygen. And the air leaves the body. Just simply notice the body. Notice the breath. Notice the breathing. And now the painting becomes the breathing. Just notice the air coming in and notice the air going out. Pay attention to the breathing. Become interested in the breathing. Start to see, for example, that it is not really you the one is breathing. The breathing is happening. The breathing is actually life, expressing itself in this body mind. It is not really you the one is breathing. It appears that it's you. But just like your blood is circulating and your heart is beating, in the same way, breathing is happening. Just be interested in that. The mind may go out, it may go into another place. When you notice that, just very gently, like a loving kid that you know is just a kid, it doesn't have the training to stay in front of this painting. It's not easy to stay in front of a painting. It's not easy. Many kids don't understand, why will I care for this painting? What is so interesting about it? So if that is happening to you, it's not a problem. Just very gently, very lovingly, bring this kid back, bring the mind back, right now into the painting of your breath. And even if the mind goes out again, that's okay. Just need some time. Just gently, lovingly, bring it back. 1 time, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. Just very gently, simply bring it back. Pay attention to the body. Pay attention to the breath. And maybe you can start to pay attention to silence. There is a silence right now. Even if you hear sounds, even if your mind is busy, you hear silence. Without the silence, you couldn't hear the sounds. Without the silence, you couldn't hear even your own thoughts. Just notice that in this moment, even if there is a lot of noise, right underneath the noise, there is this silence. Just see if you can pay attention to it. The silence right now becomes the painting. Be interested in this painting of silence. What is this silence? Is it really always there? Does it come and does it go? Yes, it appears to come and it appears to go. But does it really? How do you feel when the silence apparently comes? How does it feel when the silence apparently goes? Just be curious about it. Be interested in this silence. If you feel the silence is too hard to grasp, then go back into the breath. The breath somehow is easier to pay attention to. If your mind gets too lost, so bring it back into the silence. And from the silence, stay there for a few seconds. And from the silence, pay attention to the silence. From the breathing, from the breathing, pay attention to the silence. Remember, it's not a problem if the mind goes out. Just very gently, very lovingly, bring it back. You can bring it back first into the body. That's the easier thing to pay attention to. Because it's the more the grossest part, the more clear part. Then from the body, notice that the body is breathing. And be interested in the breath. Be curious about the breath. And then from the breathing, pay attention to the silence. Be curious about the silence. Be interested in it. And maybe, just maybe, you start to have an interest in this silence. And you feel even a certain love for it. You enjoy, you laugh, you want this silence. There is something so beautiful about the silence. I will take you one more step from the silence. See if you can notice that in order to notice the silence, you have to be aware of it. The silence doesn't stand on its own. It doesn't have an existence on its own. In order for you to pay attention to silence, you have to be aware of the silence. Just be interested in this awareness. Be curious about it. It is something that we never pay attention to. We don't even notice that it's there. But this awareness is at the very root of every one of our experiences. Not only the experience of silence, but every one of our experiences. It's at the very root of our very life. Just simply pay attention to it. Just simply become aware that there is awareness. That's all. If you find that it's too difficult to grasp, and it is very difficult to grasp because truly speaking, awareness is ungraspable. You cannot really grasp awareness. But if you find it's too difficult to pay attention to, go back into the silence. Just notice the silence, stay there. If you find it's too difficult to pay attention to silence, go back into the breath. And try to stay there in the breath. And if the mind goes out, don't worry for it. Just simply, very gently and lovingly, bring it back. Just bring it back into the body. And then bring it back into the silence, into the breathing. And then maybe notice the silence. And then maybe notice that in order for you to pay attention to silence, you have to be aware. Be aware that you are aware. We will just do this for the next 2 minutes. Just bring all your energy, bring all your desire that brought you into this meditation. Bring all your strength, bring all your love into these last 2 minutes. Either to pay attention to the body, to pay attention to the breathing, to pay attention to the silence, or to start to notice that you are aware. Just very slowly. Allow Morier to come in, Morier to go out. Just feel this fresh oxygen coming into your body. And just very gently start to move your hands, start to move your arms, start to stretch your body. Move your arms, stretch the body. Move a bit your neck, move your shoulders. Thank you very much for being here with me, for being here with you. We have some time. I'm happy to stay here for another 10 minutes if you want to have some comments or some questions about the meditation. If you want to give it a like to the meditation, it's nice. I like to see that you like it. I cannot see you, but at least I can see the likes. If you have some comments or questions, please do write them in the comment section. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Vlad. I promise you, it makes me very glad to see that people are interested in this. And the fact that you come, it shows that there is interest in you. And this makes me very happy. I recognize your Satya Elia, Andrea. Andrea, it's difficult only if you expect something. I didn't say it today. I didn't use this phrase today. Don't expect anything. It's difficult only if we expect something to happen. But if we don't expect anything to happen, because nothing is supposed to happen, things have their time. It is very important to think this way, Andrea. It's very, very important that not to expect, because we don't know where the mind is. We don't know where we are. There is so many factors that make every moment. So obviously you want to meditate because you made the effort to be here today, and that's the most important. Feed that love, feed that desire that you have in you, And do not expect. What is important is your love, is your desire for it. Don't. There is no bad meditation. I promise you, there is no bad meditation. There is only this moment, and this moment is exactly as it's supposed to be. Not one comma of this moment could be different. There is the whole of existence. The whole of existence is expressing itself in this moment, as you, as me, as this meditation, as this moment. It's not just me here. It's the whole of existence expressing itself in you, in me, in everything, in this plant. Radu says, the seeing of the process of breathing as something that just happens, like the blood circulating, is very beautiful and enlightening for the mind. You shift the mind paradigm, let go, let go. Very beautiful, Radu. Very beautiful. I couldn't say better. Let go, let God. Very beautiful. Yes. I noticed that there were a few people that I know the let go is not your quote, but if you feel it, it's your quote. If you understand it, then it's your quote. Everything is not ours until we understand it, and then it becomes ours. But it's nice to say it's not your quote. I understand. I was saying that I saw several people that enter later into the meditation. That's very good. I recommend you to listen to the very beginning of it, either now or later, sometime. I feel it's a very good thing to listen to this introduction, because it will help us to have a sense of where we are going, or how we are going in the meditation. Also tonight we have this the evening with presence. Today we will talk about fear, a very complex subject. You're very welcome. It's in Zoom, so it's a bit more interactive. Okay, so if there is no more comments or questions, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And see you tonight, or see you also tomorrow. We have a class, a yoga class in the evening. You're very welcome to join. Thank you very much. Ciao.